You're listening to A Tiny Homestead, the podcast comprised entirely of conversations with homesteaders, cottage food producers, and crafters, and topics adjacent. I'm your host, Mary Lewis. This Homestead Holler is a shout out to North County Marketplace. North County Marketplace's mission is to partner with and provide local farmers and zero waste / clean ingredient products. You can find them on Facebook at North County Marketplace or online at nocomarketplace.com. If you're enjoying this podcast, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend, or leave a comment. Thank you. Today I'm talking with Angela at Millie's Moonstone. I love that name so much. Good morning, Angela. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. How's the weather in where you are?
It's actually a beautiful day today.
Yeah, and I forget where you are. Sorry.
I'm in Southwestern PA, like close to Uniontown, Pittsburgh area.
Okay, yep. You told me in messages and then I closed it and I forgot to make a note of it in my brain. Sorry.
That's okay.
It is going to snow in Minnesota tonight. That's where I am.
Well, I actually love snow, so I'm the only weirdo around here that's like missing the snow.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be unusual. I wouldn't be so excited, except that last winter we got maybe 6 inches total for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And this winter we've gotten maybe 6 inches, and they're saying 3 to 5 tonight. So it would be really nice to get the last hurrah done, have it be pretty, and then just roll into springtime. I would be so excited about that.
Right. I love the changes of the season, but we just don't seem to have winters like we used to anymore. So as you'll find out through this, I'm very old-fashioned for my age, so like I miss the old times and and always having snow on the ground all winter and
Yeah, somebody called it Grandma Cor to me the
yeah.
other day.
Yep,
And I
that's
was
me.
at first I was like, I'm 55, I'm a grandma. I don't know how comfortable I am with Grandma Cor, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I decided it was very cute.
Yeah,
The way we said.
I'm still like fun and immature in a sense, but like I just when it comes to like the values and the gardening and things like that, that's always been like super important to me and stayed with me.
I'm kind of surprised nobody's called it Nature Core yet, but maybe they'll start doing that too.
I dig that.
Yeah, Nature Core. And that way it's
Yeah,
not Grandma Core, it's not Kid Core, it's not an age specific thing, it's just an everybody
right,
thing.
right.
Okay, so everybody stop calling it Grandma Core, call it Nature Core. We'll start a trend. All right, so
Millicore.
Millicore, yes, exactly. Okay, so I'm assuming that your grandma had a lot to do with your take on all this. So you named your business after her.
Yes, so growing up, she lived walking distance from me, so that was, super nice, and we were super close. She always just had a way of like how everything is just so busy now and everybody's on their phones and just like busy working for corporations and different things, but like when you were at grandma's house it was like you were like you were almost on vacation. um she did like Sunday dinners every Sunday. She would make a soup we called Sunday soup, but it's actually like an old hunky soup recipe that was passed down like generations.
Hmm.
We didn't always have that. She had other things, but everybody was always welcome at her house. A lot of homemade cooking and gatherings. So I always wanted to be like her and be that type of person. And there was, like I said, like that always sense of pausing and not to get your thoughts and identify with people and yourself versus just being so busy and on the go. So that's something I really miss about her.
Yeah. My husband's grandma was Grandma Kyle. My husband's name is Kyle. He was named after the family surname. So
Uh-huh.
so if Kyle has his family surname, he would be Kyle, which wouldn't work. But
Right.
but she was Grandma Kyle to everybody, but to
Mhm.
people who actually spent time at her house, and to people who spent time at her house, she was Ma, M-A,
Aw,
Ma.
yeah. Mhm.
And my husband told me the story, and I was like, that is so sweet. And everyone
Yeah.
was welcome to come to her house
Right.
and sit down and have a cup of something and talk. And
Mhm.
I liken her to the town therapist because she would listen to anyone.
Right. And
So I think your grandma and my husband's grandma probably had a lot in common.
yeah, it sounds like it. And
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
she had like a love for the earth, and that kind of how I started all of this. So like we would do a lot of gardening and snapping beans. And when they say snapping beans is therapy, they're not kidding.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that was some true therapy I had growing up.
Yep.
And she just always taught me things from the earth are better, like versus going to like even her apricot filling at the store. She was like, if you just throw some apricots in a pan with sugar and boil it with water, you're going to get that filling versus then she would read the label and like you can't even pronounce half the stuff on the label.
Yeah.
And her stuff always tasted so much better. Like she did catering for weddings, catering, cookies, and that her bread was to die for. I'm getting close because the problem was every time she'd come to my house and try to teach me, she would end up doing it. Like
Yes.
I'd get busy with the kids and she was like, "Oh, just let me do it." Or she really wanted to do it. And it's like everyone in the family's trying to match her bread recipe, but that's where I got a lot of my product ideas. So I started making a tattoo cream because my niece does tattoos. She has real ink in Uniontown. She does beautiful work, and I have a mental health piece on my arm.
Uh-huh.
And so I started making a tattoo cream, and then I was like, I feel like grandma adding the different recipes with the, essential oils and coconut oil because I didn't want to stick to the recipes. And then I was like, oh, then it all just kind of clicked. And then, in addition to the recipe thing and grandma, I got the Moonstone from just my love of the earth then. And, I'm into the stems or, oh my gosh, the stones and gems and just different things like that. So I kind of put it together to make the title.
I love it. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Um, okay, so I know that you make like lotions and salves. Do you
Hmm.
do you make jewelry too?
I haven't got into the jewelry
Okay.
just yet. So like I said, it started out with tattoo cream and now it's over 50 products. A lot of soap, body wash. I do the whipped beef tallow and I get the tallow from the local butcher. So I cook it down myself, and then
Nice.
I use whatever's left, like the impurities. I use that to make the birdseed cakes and I also
Mhm.
sell those. Um, I do the Better Than Botox. The
Mhm.
ladies love that.
What? Tell me,
Uh,
tell me about that one.
so it has about 7 different ingredients: cucumber seed oil, carrot seed oil, different plant extracts that literally it has taken the fine lines and wrinkles. Like I was about to go get Botox myself being 46, and
Uh-huh.
I skipped it now. Like
Yep.
I almost feel like I have baby skin is the way I describe it. Like it's reversing back to
That's good
uh,
stuff.
yeah. And
This-
then I sort of took that with the whipped beef tallow that everybody was getting into, and I combined the two, and I call that magic in a jar. So you're getting the whipped beef tallow, the honey, and the 7 ingredients from the Botox.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is clove part of the ingredients?
Not for that actually, but I do have a soap called the Witch's Apple,
Uh,
and I have clove in that.
okay,
Is that
the reason I ask is we made a clove sweet orange and cinnamon soap a couple years ago.
Oh, that sounds really good.
And it is delicious smelling. Like
Mm.
I didn't even wait for it to cure the 6 weeks. I pulled apart 4 weeks, and I stepped into a hot shower with that and lathered up, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I'm so awake. This smells so good." But the surprise was that clove is actually really good to take fine lines out of your skin too.
Oh, okay.
Clove is
Good to
great for that.
know. Yeah, I might have to add an ingredient.
Yeah, and it smells really good. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
go ahead, keep talking. You were saying.
And then I do like a men's line too. So I have the beard balm, the beard wash, and surprisingly, I just was extremely shocked about the number of men that are into the organic products. So they would message me and be like, "Hey, well my place is far away, so I want to check your stuff out." Meaning they had already been into it. So I
Yeah.
was happy to see that. And they sort of, they respect like what I'm doing, like being a small business and using all natural stuff. And
Mhm.
so it's been a really fun experience. And the reason I got into it is I did do mental health treatment for 20 years. And I hate to sound like it was a jail sentence, but I feel like that was a lot of time and energy out of my own mental health.
Yeah.
um because I kind of got away from the whole when grandma passed away, like I was literally working 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. at night, not getting to have family with the dinner or dinner with the family, sort of living the lifestyle I didn't really want to live, the work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where, I had to choose myself and my family, and I chose to do this. And, it's been, I don't regret the work I did. I feel really good about helping people and everything I've done. It's just something I needed to take a step back from.
Yeah, I was gonna ask to clarify what you said
Yeah.
because you worked in the mental health
Yeah.
field. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So 20 years in the mental health field. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, and now you're doing other kind of health work.
Yes, yes. And this does end up kind of being like therapy, like you said.
Yeah.
um, just talking now I kind of advocate for people that are busy like that and just trying to help them and realize too, like I think society has set it up to where they don't want us to know this stuff, like they don't want us to be self-sufficient. And it's amazing how you can make I can make a bar of soap, pour a thing of deodorant, and still make a home cooked meal for my family.
Yeah.
I don't need to be, and I can even do like a time study. It does sound overwhelming, like it does. Like, oh, where do you have time to do all that? I just don't have the time. But if you took a Sunday, your day off, and a few minutes, you're really done with all of that, and you feel better, you feel more grounded, you feel like I did this, this stuff's homemade, it's coming from me, and it feels better to do that for your family.
Yes. And I'm gonna share a hint for people. If you think that something is gonna take you a long time to do, get a get an egg timer or one of the ones that you twist and it clicks backwards and
Mhm.
set it for what you think it's going to take you time to do and then start doing the thing. And the reason I'm saying this is back when I was younger, I really hated standing at the sink doing dishes. And it
Mhm.
always felt like it took for freaking ever. And I finally was like, how long is it actually taking me? Is this just me, psyching myself out about it? And I grabbed a timer and I set it for 5 minutes and I filled the sink with water and then I turned the timer on. It took me 3 minutes to wash the dishes.
Mhm.
Literally 3 minutes. And there weren't a lot, but at least I had a gauge now for if there's this much on the counter, it's going to take this many minutes. And
Mhm.
now I just stay on top of the dishes because I'm like, if I do them now, it's going to take me 3 minutes. If I wait until tomorrow, it's going to take me a half an hour. So
Right.
so time is measurable and time is weird. Um,
Mhm.
I was talking to my folks yesterday, and my mom is 78 and my dad is 81, and they were like, "Where does the time go?" And it reminded me of that when I had my first baby, they put her in my arms, and I thought, 18 years is a long time. And then
Mhm.
she turned 18, and I was like, "Nope, it's the blink of an eye."
It really is.
So
Yeah.
when people say I don't have time, that's not really what they're saying.
Mhm. Yeah.
So the framework needs to be understood to understand what they're actually telling you when they say I don't have time.
Right. And I feel like too, like our jobs want us. I mean, I had very good experiences. Like I said, I love the work I did. I worked with schizophrenic, bipolar addiction.
Mhm.
I love the work I did, the people I helped. It was when I became a manager that I became like 5 years ago that I began to see how corporations really don't care about you.
Uh-huh.
Like I actually had a clinical director tell me, write this nasty email. This is how you handle it with your staff, and and I felt pressured being in that position, like I had to do that, like, or they were going to think bad of me. But my supervisor role to me was to coach and to show by example and to thrive in that way, and I built really good relationships with the team I was on, certain ones, that were open to that. But like I feel like you just can't be, especially with people working in mental health, you can't just be like uncaring toward them or their feelings or needs, and expect them to go out and be caring and do that stuff for the clients. So
Mhm.
my style was a little different, and that
Well,
was hard on me to see their style, like firsthand being a manager.
well, yes, and you worked in the mental health field for 20
Right,
years. You probably
right.
gained some really good tools to encourage people in that 20 years.
Right, and that's the thing too, like, I never went to college straight out of high school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had my kids when I was in my early 20s,
Mhm.
and I worked myself up, from I worked one-on-one with an autistic kid and just felt like I really wanted to help, and that's what I wanted to do. And I raised my kids, worked full time, and went to school to
Yep.
get my degree. So when my staff came to me for help, then I wanted to be like, well, I did that before, and this is how I handled it, because I did have a lot of experience, and I was where they were at.
You're a giving spirit. I love that.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
so are you out of that field now
So
completely?
I decided that since I did have a bad experience with that upper management, I felt the need to take a mental break and do this for a while.
Okay.
I'm definitely getting back into it. I just hooked up with a company in Morgantown, West Virginia, and something I let go of many, many years was getting my license as a psychologist. Because I just kept working my way up without it, and being so busy, I never took the time to do the hours and the test.
Mhm.
And they actually heard my story and want to help me with that.
Nice.
So I thought that was very awesome of them. So I'm taking another month off doing this, and then I'm gonna slowly, work on getting my license.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
and I swear everybody has like 6 or 7 things that they do for work in their lifetime these days. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right on the ball here. Um, so when did you start making all this stuff in your business?
So when I stepped away from, work in November, I don't want to call it witchcraft in a dark way, because
Right.
then Facebook and some family members were like, "Oh my gosh, that's devil worshiping, blah blah blah."
Uh-huh.
You can't explain to people. And it's a book called The Green Witch. Of course, I took over my grandma, and we have a huge garden. I mean, I can't even fit it all in one photo. Like, and then we have since put in three more gardens. We have a cornfield. So I'm out in the garden, I'm doing a lot, and I got a book called The Green Witch,
Yes.
and I love it. So I use a lot of it for my garden. I got into a lot of the manifestation and like the prosperity oils, the love oils, more for, self-love. And it's just something that clicked with me, and it kind of helped me through that period, and it kind of inspired me. And in that book, then there's a lot of good recipes. um, I also make the lip balm too, meditation balms, all the oils. So getting into that book then, and then sort of using grandma's sort of way to change up the recipes is kind of where I got inspired.
Nice. Um,
Yeah.
I have no issue with you using the term
Yeah.
witchcraft because I'm the same way. I
Okay, good.
I am supposedly, again, I've mentioned this a couple times on the podcast. Supposedly, I am descended from the first male accused, tried, and hung for witchcraft in the
Oh,
Salem
wow.
witchcraft trials.
Wow.
Supposedly,
Yeah.
I can't trace it back definitively because no one really can. But but yeah.
Right.
And so
Wow.
I have done a lot of reading on the Salem witch trials, on
Mhm.
the way things used to be done, on midwifery, on wise women, and
Mhm.
and honest to God, witches get such a bad rap because
Yeah.
it's so much of it was so good.
Right. Making soups was considered witchcraft. I mean, there was a lady who made soups and, cured the little kids from colds and, they looked at that as magic and she was actually helping, there was
Yeah.
nothing dark associated with that, but she's labeled as a witch. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I sort of went through that, which was fine because I just feel like I'm doing this for me, not other people. Nobody really has to understand it. I mean, it hurts your feelings when people are thinking a certain way, but um in the end I'm so healed right now that I'm in a very unbothered state right now.
That is
Like
a
I'm doing this for me and and to spread the word and about my passion. So
yeah, that's a fantastic place to be in your
yes.
psyche.
Yes.
Um, the other thing is that homesteading is all about doing things for yourself. And you're not necessarily
Mhm.
a homesteader, I guess, but you are a crafter. And
Mhm.
and you're doing things for yourself and you're also sharing those things to help other people. I see nothing wrong with this plan.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and the thing that's funny is you are a very fancy crafter. I was looking at the things that you make and they're beautiful. And
Thank you.
you put intention and you put really good ingredients in them and you make this wonderful thing or things. And
Mhm.
what's funny is people don't quite know that they have a lot of things that can help them in their house in cooking ingredients.
Right.
We use coconut oil for things. And
Mhm.
coconut oil is like magic.
Mhm.
It is great for dry skin. It is great for healing wounds, especially if you mix a little honey in it.
Right.
It's great for lip gloss. Lip gloss. It's going to be slippery, but you just
Yep.
dab some of it off and it's lip gloss. Um,
Mhm.
it's not that hard to get coconut oil at the store. And it comes in little tiny containers and great big containers. So
Right.
you
And I
could just
think
you could just use coconut oil for a lot of things.
right. Yeah. Like my witch's apple soap I mean everything's out of the kitchen.
Mhm.
Ginger, honey, cinnamon. People love that smell too. Like one of my customers bought it and said she sniffed it like driving like like it was an addicting smell. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
so
Any
like,
any of those fall or autumn scents,
mhm.
people
Yeah,
tend to really love them because they remind them of cozy and
right,
warm and good food and good company.
right, and that's a lot of thing about this too. Like I find myself if I have a bad day, I'll just go over and sniff that mint soap or
Mhm.
my essential oils. I have them in the diffuser. It really is a mood changer, like for sure.
Yeah, and it's really funny because stores sell air fresheners all the time
Mm-hmm.
and they have all kinds of things in them that are not good for you
Right,
and a lot of the time not good for your pets. If you have cats or dogs,
right.
the diffusers are not great because they can actually make your pets sick. And
Mm-hmm.
and I had to actually look up a bunch of things when we started making candles because we have a dog we love. I haven't mentioned Maggie in a couple episodes.
Well, you probably hear mine snoring in the you'll
I
hear her
actually can't
snoring.
hear them, but that's fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but when we started making candles and soaps, I was like, before we open anything in this kitchen, we need to look
Hmm.
up what effect that will have on our dog because I am not
Right.
going to poison my dog. I spent a lot of money on my dog. I love my dog. I want her to be around for as long as she can be around. And one
Hmm.
of the things I found out is that tea tree oil is really bad for dogs.
Hmm.
Like you shouldn't even have a bottle of it open anywhere because just breathing it can make them feel yucky. And
Right.
so I also learned the other day that tea tree oil is really good for um, toenail fungus of all things.
Yeah, it's like a natural healer. I've put it on. I had a belly ring piercing, that just
Yeah.
it did not want to cooperate.
Yep.
I had lost weight a couple years ago to be, my cousin's wedding. Um, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that because I had that when I was younger and had to take it out. And I got that it was just so like it was fighting me every step of the way.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yep.
hurting so bad, and I went and got antibiotics at the doctor, antibiotic cream in the past, nothing worked, and I was just about ready to take it out, and I just put that pure tea tree oil on it, and it healed it up like in within 2 days.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
So I found out that it was really good for toenail fungus, and I was like, huh, well,
Mm,
that's a good thing to keep in your back pocket of information, right? And then
right.
I was like, great, if I ever have that happen to me, I'm going to want to put it on my toenails, and my
Right.
dog is going to smell it, and then she's going to get sick. So
Aw.
tea tree oil is probably not something that we're going to do a lot with in our house, but it is a
Hmm.
really good oil to have
Right.
on hand if you don't have pets.
Right.
There's just so many things that are so readily available to us that we don't know is a thing to have on hand.
Now, speaking of pets, I have Cooper. I rescued him 3 years ago now. He
Mhm.
was a puppy. He was found under an old man's trailer, like abandoned with the mother dog
Aw,
and his siblings, and all of his siblings got adopted out. We did a DNA test, and like weirdly, we had this little group chat, and all of them came back the same breed, so it's pretty accurate.
yeah.
He's a Great Pyrenees boxer and foxhound mix. He's 158 pounds.
Oh,
And he's kind of like Clifford. Like every time someone sees him, they're like, how'd he get bigger? Like, isn't he supposed to be done growing? He gets bigger and bigger. But he had a severe allergy to the flea and tick meds.
yeah.
So I took him several vets, and they, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to get Lyme's disease from ticks. I can't put nothing on him. And I was at the dog park one day talking to a pharmacist, and he said, well, if you think about it, we're literally putting pesticides on our dogs.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, you're right. So even before I started all of this, for him, I had to research natural, ways, and it's apple cider vinegar. So he gets a bath with that and the Castile soap. And then I make a flea tick spray for him. And I would say he's had one tick on him all this time, and that was due to just like once I was sick and I wasn't like spraying him regularly in the summer,
Yep.
or I had a back injury.
Yep.
Um, but other than that, I mean, I feel like it's worked pretty good. I have never seen a flea on him.
Yeah, it's fleas are weird. I'm gonna share a story real quick. We have
Mm-hmm.
we have barn cats because we have a pole barn and we knew there were mice in there. We could see them running around when we turned the light on. And we got a couple barn cats to deal with the problem because that's what barn cats do. They hunt mice.
Right.
And our barn cats have never had fleas in 4 years. And we don't treat them with anything. We don't do anything with the barn cats except feed them and pet them when they want pets. That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much it. And
Right.
we don't feed them a lot because they're getting the mice and the stuff.
Right.
But we've never treated them for anything. And
Nature is.
no fleas on these animals. And
Yeah.
we've had 3 or 4 batches of kittens. The kittens never got fleas.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's because of where we live. Maybe there just aren't
Mm-hmm.
many fleas around or what the deal is. But fleas are weird. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can remember my mom flea bombing our house when we were growing up because the cats did get fleas in Maine where we
Mm-hmm.
live. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the deal is with that. But either way, yes, we're putting pesticides into our animals' bodies so that the bugs bite them and die. And
Right.
and my dad actually has a border collie and he gives her the NexGard Plus stuff or whatever it is because
Mm-hmm.
that's what's available. And
Right.
and he said, "Honey, I hate doing it." He said these bugs bite her and fall right off dead. And I'm like, "Yeah." He's
Wow.
like, "What is that doing to her?" And I'm like, "I don't know.
Right.
I don't know."
Right. Well, if he's ever interested, Cooper has a line here.
Uh-huh.
I
Yes.
do the paw balm, to help with the paw pads. Um, I do the flea tick spray and the wash, the doggy wash.
Yep, exactly. Is Cooper on the picture on your label? Is that what he looks
He
like?
is. Yep,
Yeah.
that's him.
Yeah. On your Facebook page. If anybody wants to see what Cooper looks like, very handsome.
He is the bearded guy that I guess the universe thought I needed.
Mhm.
I'm single. And I'm like, I want this like bearded tattoo guy, but I get Cooper and that's fine.
Yeah, and since we've gotten onto the pet thing,
Yeah.
um, I want people to buy things from makers, obviously, But
Hmm.
but the other thing is that if you can't spend the money to buy it from a maker, you could probably make a paw balm yourself
Yes.
out of a little bit of beeswax, a little bit of coconut oil, um, and some honey, I guess. I put honey in everything, so it's okay.
Yeah. That
But
beef tallow is great too. It's
yeah,
good for everything.
yeah, anything that will stay harder at room temperature. So it's not
Hmm.
an oil, it's like a chapstick texture.
And dried marigolds, I plant a lot of those in the garden to keep like, the rabbits and stuff away and different bugs they keep away. But I brew a lot of that juice from, cooking, like brewing the dried marigolds, and that has a lot of healing powers too.
Yeah, and in the wintertime, man, if you're walking your dog and it's cold, their toe beans hurt.
Right.
And if you can put that stuff on them when you get back, warm their feet up and put it on their pads, it really helps.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Maggie is the love of my life right now.
Aw.
I have four adult children. She's my fifth baby out of the children.
Aw.
And so I'm always like, what can I do for her if something is up, if
Right,
something's not
right,
right. So,
right.
but there are
It's
so many things we can do for ourselves with ingredients we probably have in the house. And it doesn't take all that much time. And it takes talent, but it doesn't take like, I don't know, brain surgery talent. It takes being able to
right.
read and follow directions.
Right. And the filling you'll get is undescribable. Like
Mm.
it's almost like a grounded filling, but I offer that too. Like um a lot of my friends, because they're like, "Can I buy makeup wipes off of you?" But I don't sell that kind of stuff because I would just feel so bad selling like my laundry softener. It's
Mhm.
literally two ingredients. You know what I mean? Like you're taking white vinegar and you're mixing baking soda, and then you just add whatever scent you want. Um, so I'd feel so bad selling that. So certain things that I am making myself but not selling, I would have no problem sharing recipes
Yeah.
or, helping with that because like I said, this is my passion and I want to sell this stuff, but I also want to help people see that they can do this stuff on their own.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to have a favorite lip gloss that I would buy.
Hmm.
And then I started making my own lip balms, and I haven't bought any lip product in
I know.
years.
It's like it's a game changer. The lip balm is I've had like reviews where they're like, I've went to Walmart this winter and spent over $300 with this cracked lip, like on the corner, and
Yep.
your lip balm cured it in 3 days. And my recipe is so simple. Like it's probably four things.
Yep,
uh,
exactly. And it doesn't take long to make a batch
no.
of lip balm. Um,
Mm-mm.
a lady messaged me or emailed me, I can't remember, a couple of years ago, and she was like, "Do you have any more of your I think it was vanilla lip balm?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "How many do you want?" And she said like 10 or 15. And I said, "Are you buying them for stocking stuffers?" And her answer made me cry. It wasn't
Aw.
for stocking stuffers. She has had a reaction to every lip balm she's ever used, but not
Aw.
ours.
Aw.
So
That
she
is
wanted
awesome.
she wanted to have a bunch on hand in storage so that every time she ran out, she could just grab another one. I
Yeah.
almost sobbed my face off.
Aw.
So when we're
Aw.
making these things, we don't know the actual impact that they might have on somebody.
Right. My brother, I named one after him. It's called Freddie Free because he works out in the cold, and I feel bad. Like men that do that, it's just amazing to me to be out there doing that kind of work in the bitter cold. And
Mhm.
his lips are all chapped and cracked. And he said he couldn't find one that worked. And then I said, well, what scent do you like? Because I'll make you one. And then he said, well, that's the problem. I can't stand any type of flavors or scent.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll just mix you up one and not add the essential oil. that's, that's really easy. So that's why I named that one after him. And he'll
Nice.
he'll just text me one, randomly. I'm out of lip balm.
Uh-huh.
I'll just whip him up another one.
Yeah, and the thing is you never really think about lip balm other than when you're, I don't know, 13, 14 years old and a girl, and you're not
Hmm.
really allowed to wear makeup, but you get to get that first lip balm of your life. and
Right.
it's like a luxury and a rite of passage thing. But
Right.
lady, if you live in a northern tier state when the temperature can get to -30 real temperature, lip balm comes in really handy and it's actually important. So,
Right, right. And that brings me into the makeup. Like, I wouldn't say like I'm super good at makeup, but I just always wore makeup, and liked it and go to Ulta and all of the places. But
mhm.
like once I realized like I can make lip gloss out of beet powder from my own garden,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like $1,000,000 putting that on, and it lasts longer, like it than anything I've ever bought.
And
And
the color is
yeah,
so
the
pretty.
shade, yes, it's very earthy. And now I do eyeshadow, I do the regular lip balm and then the tinted stuff and the
Mhm.
tinted lip gloss, but I pretty much can make all of my makeup now.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean,
Hmm.
I when we were busy 2 summers ago really working on lip balms and soaps and candles and stuff, after about 2 months, I was like, "I can't do this anymore." Every day we were making something, and my husband was like, "Well, we kinda need to. We bought the ingredients and we need to sell this stuff, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "I know, but my house always just smells so intently of
Hmm.
whatever oil, scented oil we're using."
Right.
And he was like, "Which ones really hurt you?" Because some of them would give me headaches.
Aw.
And I said, "The lavender just kills me.
Yeah.
Lavender's supposed to be really good for headaches, but not in that kind of intense scent."
Hmm.
He said, "Okay, we won't make any lavender for a while." I said, "Okay, that'd be great. Can we not make the lilac either? Because that was a fragrance oil." And he
Yeah.
was like, "Yep, nope, we don't have to do that." I said, "Mint is good. Coffee."
Hmm.
We had a
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
fragrance that was amazing.
Yeah.
I said, "You can make coffee, scented, flavored, anything you want every day of the week. It doesn't
Hmm.
bother me at all." So,
Hmm.
why I'm saying this is when you commit to having some kind of business where you're dealing with things that are scented, you really have to either suck it up and realize you're going to have a headache with some scents because it will bother you,
Right.
or you have to be strategic and be like, "Okay, what are the ones I really love? Let's do those today."
Exactly, yeah. And then like the headache stuff I have, I called it Feel Better because literally I had the flu and I'm like, I have to have all of this stuff. Like I make the soap, the Mad Head Relief, it's like a natural Vicks, and I
Yeah.
put the lapis stone in that. And then the shower steamers that I could smell like every day. But you're right, like the lavender sometimes it gets to me. Like I'm not a huge fan of the lavender. I know it has a lot of benefits for your skin, and I what's nice about today is somebody's allergic to, not that that's a nice thing, but
Yeah.
that's the stuff I'm making today is lavender free.
Yep.
So you're right, like it's a nice time to like step away from it.
Yeah, and the other thing is that when we make our stuff, we would make it in our kitchen. And
Mhm.
if it was cold out, we didn't have our windows open. People, if you're going to make anything that has a scent, try to do it when you have your windows open because that helps too.
Yes, absolutely. My mom had passed away I'd gone through a pretty bad breakup like 4 years ago
Uh-huh.
and had to move back home. And my dad was in the process of remodeling, and my mom was on hospice.
Yeah.
So I look at it like a bad and a good time, but just because like coming home gave me that time with my mom that I can never replace, like
Sure, yeah.
so, which I do have some plans for her this summer. I
Uh-huh.
know I named the business after grandma. I haven't really fully grieved my mom yet.
Yep.
I know that sounds crazy because we're going on year 3, but for me to name something after her right now or do something is almost reliving her death to
Yes.
me. But she was Italian and she made the best spaghetti sauce you could ever imagine. Like everyone
Mhm.
in the whole family loves it. So my plan this year with my tomatoes is to start, I'm going to get my license for selling the food,
Yeah.
um, and make her spaghetti sauce with her picture on it.
Nice.
So
That's
that's a little
adorable.
reveal I have for the summer. Um, but anyway, we quit remodeling at that time. We have like an upstairs and downstairs that's sort of sort of like apartment style. Like there's everything upstairs that there is downstairs. The only difference is the upstairs isn't fully remodeled. So that's the kitchen I'm working out of. I
Okay.
have one little burner that works still. And then I don't have to be around all the food either. You know what I mean? It's nice. It's kind of like a little workshop.
Yeah.
And then most of the cooking I do is with my dad downstairs.
Well, keep cooking with your dad because those are memories that
Yeah.
are really important to have too.
Yeah, I did it. He's a great guy. Like, I'm real fortunate to have a really good family, but he's just always been there for me. And I think that's hard for why I'm having a hard time dating right now is just not that I compare to him, but like just those values and stuff, you just don't see them anymore. Or like being a gentleman or you just don't or making sure you're taken care of. And I'm like very independent. I'm self-sufficient obviously, but like it's that feeling that someone has your back, you know what I mean? Like that, like that comes from you have a partner that wants to make sure you're okay.
Uh-huh. Yes, absolutely. And
Yes.
I'm really lucky too. I have a great dad. My dad's the
Mhm.
best guy I know, and he's 81.
Aw.
And he is in great health right now, and I hope he stays that way for another 30 years, but that's probably not true. So,
Aw.
but no, I get it. Having a dad who, when you call, he says, "What's up, honey?" or "How can I help?"
Mhm.
is so
Mhm.
priceless.
Right. And people laugh. I'm not gonna lie, like from Southwest PA, we're not, there's not always people into the organic stuff or so I had this vision and eventually I want to get a shop. Right now I'm just working off of Facebook and doing online orders and deliveries. But my end game is to get a shop. And I was like, I want a soup and soap shack. And
Oh,
everybody
man, yes.
Everybody's laughing at me. And I'm like, I could even throw the joke in. It's not cooked in the same pot.
Mhm.
And they're like laughing, but not at me, not with me. And my dad says, well, you could be like Cindy Crawford and you could build an empire. And I was like, I needed that dad statement because like everybody's laughing at me, and he just has a way of that made me feel good, like it's
Yeah.
my goals aren't a joke. Like
Yeah,
if
and if
I
you
believe.
if you do the soup and soap shack, you should do a cauldron as the graphic.
I I know, right? I thought of that.
Yep, that would be adorable. I think you should do it. I want you to do it.
Okay, that's my goal. I'm
Okay.
working on it.
All right, Angela, we are at 42 minutes, and I try to keep these at half an hour, so I'm gonna let you go. But thank you
All right.
so much for chatting with
Thank
me today. I
you.
appreciate it.
I really appreciate you.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Bye
Bye.
bye.